Professor Anton, I agree with you fully. I, and one thing I'm going to say, I guess it's good you making a video like this because, see, at this level, thinking in terms of kind is much more apt. In a way, I'm just trying, in those some other things maybe, and I intend for this to be a self-effacing way to put it. I'm trying to kind of claim some. Some territory in the quantum mechanics level of epistemology and whatnot. Where, yes, you can tell these other stories in terms of that. That's the lower level thing. There's a domain there where you start to have to understand these principles differently, just in degrees, and it's important. And I don't mean just physically, but anyway, sorry. My real point here is at this level, yeah, because, for example, what's going on in BP is a certain kind of, with this BP spill, is a certain kind of thing. It's a criminal thing, And I agree with your sentiment behind boycotting BP. I totally endorse that. On the other hand, I've heard people say, oh, wait, maybe, don't boycott BP, just divest of all of your holdings in BP. Check if your mutual funds have BP. Get out of BP that way. This kind of thing will collapse the price of BP. They'll basically go bankrupt or be bought off at basement prices, and this without getting all the American workers out of work for as long or whatever, or maybe not at all. Well, I endorse that idea too, but I'm not sure that would work because I don't think the other oil companies are so great that giving them just a bargain basement scrap price is going to really help. But what I do believe is that the American holdings of BP should just be put into a receivership, and you don't want to interrupt any of the operations per se. But you start by recording. All of the American executives and American people would be reporting. They would still work for BP. You can't tell them who they work for. But all the property, their desk, everywhere, their phone, their computers, all of that property would be held in ownership by this receivership. So they would, you would be able to record all of their communications. And they would have to keep operating, if they made it through, then it'd go back to normal afterwards. And if they didn't, you'd start doing things. And in fact, I even thought of one idea is, these BP gas station owners. How about this? How about you let them tear down their BP sign, you sell off all the gas stations, and you let the gas stations buy from the U.S. supply for a while. And you fill the U.S. supply with the BP oil that would have gone to those stations. Okay, so it's a break even, but those guys are not selling BP oil, and they don't have BP oil signs, right? They put up Jim's sign, and if I had my way, you'd even help those guys. You'd give those guys loans to buy those stations for themselves. All right. And this would help an American economic crisis. And it's only something and what is funny, I think, is because it emphasizes your point that you can't really do this stuff in economic terms, even money issues. It's not just how much money, it's how you spend the money, in other words. See, if we spent billions of dollars in loans, and maybe $1 billion don't get paid back, and we have to seize gas stations that are then auctioned off. Oh dearie, oh me. So we've spent $500 million and built billions of dollars of, and I'm not a socialist. I don't just go around saying, hey, let's do this. No, the other companies have problems too, and I'm not like punish them. And it's really just, you can remedy the situation if you control the property that has done this criminal thing. You take it as a racket, and you go over and take control of it. And actually, it's a lot better than you do with the racket because you don't shut it down. You make sure that you're involved with all the communications, and then you make some property decisions, and they can be made in the national interest of the United States. And I think that any sentiment that it's intolerable is great. So I liked, I definitely liked your points, and I think I think that ultimately it shows where we're likely probably to agree a lot. I would imagine that we have similar sentiments. I guess I wonder if you like most people would think that that's some sort of a uh, communist, you know, radicalism to say that you could put something in receivership when this criminal kind of activity uh, is going on, negligent or whichever kind of crime. It's just, you can't just let it go and just wait while it's going on. You can't, the crime is actually still happening. You've got to do something. And what do you do when the system causing that is so huge? Well, you have to go get in there and do, a kind of arrest, but you don't want to stop it. You can't take it to jail. You want to go in and take possession of it, authoritative possession, but you actually don't necessarily interfere directly. But you start getting the communication, and they'll say you're interfering because they won't be able to hide the shit they're saying as much. And believe me, they're saying a lot of stuff that they want to hide right now, and for the last few months, I'm sure. I'll bet you don't disagree.